Hey, how's it going? Is that you? It's good to see you. Welcome to this, what is this, Thursday? Thursday night edition of Real Manos Live. We're going to be talking about those crazy announcements at the last week's San Diego. And we're going to go real nutty and talking all about it. Now, that's going to be the focus of things. And hello, Marion. Let me do a quick couple of shares here, and then we can get the show on the road. Now, what I want to do is chat briefly about each of the cinematic universe episodes and films that were announced, and some quick thoughts about them. And then if you have any questions regarding them, I'd be more than happy to talk about that stuff too. Let me do a little sharing here, because sharing is caring. About that. Oh, all right. Let me do some Twitter stuff first here. And let's see. There we go. And I hope I spelled phase right. I sometimes like to put an R in it for some stupid reason. I don't think that's correct. There we go. So, because it would be a mistake. We'd be all embarrassed about that. So I'm gonna essentially tell everybody here the place. So let's see. MCU Phase 4. Okay. And I don't know if you can hear the people outside. There's apparently outside of my apartment, people are loud all the fucking time. It's never occurred to any of my neighbors to not be upset about something, like ever. Like that's basic. It's sleeping and then yelling. It's kind of how everybody lives around here, except for me. Because I don't know, it's just not my thing. I like sleeping and I don't need to yell all the time. We're live talking about the MCU Phase 4. Okay. All right. I'll let people know on my various things. So, hey, if they don't come, that's their problem. They can actually watch this afterwards because we are now getting and going and talking about this stuff. So let's dig in, shall we? Let's see. Now, I put aside on my computer the various different projects just so I remember, because there was a lot. There was quite a bit. Now, a lot of the stuff was already kind of like hinted at and confirmed, but this was all, oh, good, okay. Let's see, we got it all here, and I am going to, this will probably be out of order. Excuse me. So, I'm going to go in this order here. Now, first off, we got, I'm going to start small because I'm going to start talking about probably the thing or a lot of people are going to be overlooking is Marvel's first animated series. And it's going to be based on the What If comic book. And it's going to be strictly what if questions within the framework of the MCU, which is an interesting idea. And never before. And that's kind of the interesting thing about the MCU is it's now its own continuity and its own status quo. So, okay. So now you can do stuff like this. Now, this was what was interesting at this year's announcements, where I was expecting, since we are done with all the movies that they told us about, that we were going to get some announcements at San Diego Comic-Con. Sure enough, we did. What's interesting is they includes the TV shows that are going to be shown on Disney Plus. Now, I'm sure you've already heard about Disney Plus. It's another step in Disney's quest to rule over all media, and it's working out pretty good for them so far. I got to hand it to them. Today's live show, by the way, is going to be brought to you by 7-Eleven 7 Select Green Tea. This stuff is very good. Has a nice kind of kick to it. It's only $1. Very good. Very refreshing. And I'm sure there's no chemicals in there. So that's the thing that I thought was interesting, was that they put the TV shows on equal footing. Now, granted, these shows star some of the actors from the movies, so it's not like the Netflix shows or the ABC shows or the Hulu shows or the Freeform shows, or any of that stuff. So Jeffrey Wright will be playing the Watcher, who we did get to briefly see. And they're going to be trying to bring back a number of the actors they can get to play themselves. I've heard they're going to do Peggy Carter, Captain America concept that was recently done not too long ago in, I forgot the name of that title, the one with Blink, where they jump from reality to reality. It's basically Marvel Sliders. And let's see, we saw like the Peggy Carter Captain America in there. So we'll get to see that. That'd be fun. It would be nice to hear Haley Atwell again, at least voicing the character. I don't know. We keep saying one more time, but then she shows up again. I guess she's too, I don't know. She's too damn good. She's too damn valuable. So that's going to be cool. I don't have any other ideas and thoughts out of, well, that's neat, I guess. Now let's go to the next one. Now, Eternals is a property that a lot of like standard fans from Marvel don't know much about. It's one of the more obscure properties Marvel's had over the years. It's one of the things Jack Kirby created that didn't really explode. Not even as much as the New Gods. Like, it's kind of like not even, because at least the New Gods kind of caught fire with Darkseid being one of the main villains in Superman, and Justice League, and some of those other characters like Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, and a couple others here and there. Yeah, the general public doesn't know too much about the New Gods, but they knew some things. Eternals is completely without that big star. It doesn't have a Mr. Miracle or Big Barda or Darkseid in them. I've read only one thing, and that was the Neil Gaiman. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember anything about it, and that's coming from a big Neil Gaiman fan. It never really struck me. Now, does that say anything bad about the movie? No, not really, because first off, we got Angelina Jolie in here. We got Selma Hayek in here, and I'm very excited about those actors. And also, I gotta remember, like, hey, we already did this thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people really didn't know much about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I have never read any Guardians of the Galaxy ever. Since then, I've read like a crossover they did with the X-Men a few years ago, but that's it. I am not a fan of the Guardians, and yet the two Guardian films are among my favorite Marvel films. I think they're excellent, and that's the thing about adaptations and property is you're introducing the property to a new audience, maybe through new eyes, and maybe those new eyes can catch on and see something that maybe they wouldn't have in the original, production or creation of the story or book or video game or whatever that they're updating or adapting. Excuse me. And that's here. So I'm interested, and it's, I'll probably talk a little bit more about this, but I think this is like one of the first examples they did where they decided to use their leverage and their goodwill to open things up a little bit instead of like going back to the well and doing the same things over again, which I think is really clever. So I'm curious about seeing this. I'll be honest, I'm more interested in seeing what they can do with this than the Inhumans. I've never been a big Inhumans fan. because I don't know. To me, this is almost more of a blank slate that they can like have at it. And next, I'm going to talk about another Marvel Disney Plus show, WandaVision. Now, in WandaVision, it does sound like a cheap stunt. They WandaVision. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't care. That's the way it's going to be set for me. And of course, we have our main actors back as Scarlet Witch and the Vision. So, and I believe it does take place at least after the events in Infinity War. So, your guess is as good as mine is what this is about. I assume maybe it's Wanda's attempt to bring Vision back in some form. And that's kind of all I got on that. This is one of the Marvel Disney Plus shows that I think I'm probably more interested in. There's a couple that I think are interesting, but I mean there are two I'm leaning into, and this is one of them. Because this is kind of directly tying into the events of the films. So I'm very curious to see where we go with this. And I also like those characters. I don't even like Wanda that much in the comics, but I have at least kind of like gravitated towards her in the MCU. And I always dug Vision. He's an interesting android hero character. So yeah, this one's probably going to be pretty cool. It might be setting up for their eventual return in the films, or I don't know if it's going to be their swan song. It's definitely not Wanda's, but we'll see. And next, actually, this was the last one that was announced, was the Black Widow. And please let Alice Cooper be on the soundtrack. Wouldn't that be great? Let's see. Ciro says, I just hope What If isn't done in the style of the current Marvel cartoons. Yeah, I would hope so. There's just something Marvel cartoons, the current crop. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, I don't think they're bad. I think they're decently handled, but they're just not special. They're just, I don't know. They just never leap out at me. In the same way you can make the comparison to the DC animated universe, or hell, even the Marvel shows just before the Disney takeover with Spectacular Spider-Man and the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Those shows were really good, and they had some style and some purpose to them. The current just feels like they just exist, and they're not bad. I occasionally watch one, and they're like okay. I don't know. They feel like they're the least we could do. You know that expression, like this, the least we could do. Well, these shows are the least we could do. I think, by the way, my personal favorite out of all these new shows is I don't know, they've been around for a few years. I tend to like the Marvel Rising show the most because it seems to have the most personality and kind of style out of these shows. But everything else is like, okay. And the Ultimate, I don't know, the silly over the top humor that just does not grab me. Let's see. Oh, Mary McDaniel asks, let's see, my main man Taskmaster is finally going to show up in this, and that's cool. Taskmaster is a great villain character for this universe, and I think he's going to do very well. And of course, plans are, but it definitely feels like it may be one film, or if it is the beginning of a series of films, this might be Scarlett Johansson's last go around in the film series, which actually would be a good way to send her off, is to have her do her own film and have her like right off in the sunset before she goes head first off a cliff. And of course, this could also be a setup. Like, let's say I believe like this other character is supposed to be like kind of a protege, and that'd be a good way to leap off. Like, then the next Black Widow film, Natasha will be dead, and this other one will be kind of taking up the mantle. That'd be a cool way to kind of do that. I'm not gonna lie, it does feel like this film should have been maybe done like 5 years ago, 2 phases ago. This should have been like a phase 2 film, really. kind of era, right after the first Avengers film. I think we could have really used the Black Widow film. We didn't get it, probably because they were still afraid of the female hero leading a movie thing, which is like, I think that's now been disproven. Um, which I don't know. People like me knew it was bullshit, but I don't know. The suits with the money needed to see it was bullshit, um, and they definitely like kind of changed their minds on that, haven't they? Yeah, I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to see Scarlett Johansson do this one more time. I don't know what their plans are. I mean, maybe they'll just go nuts and keep having her in the movies, but uh, the next one is another Disney Plus show, which this one's the one I'm most excited about, and it is Hawkeye, starring Jeremy Renner, and I am all in it. Like I mentioned, Black Widow should have had a show. Excuse me, should have had a film earlier, and Hawkeye too, about around this kind of time. And I'm a big fan of the Matt Fraction comic. I love the tone. I love that take on him. That's kind of my favorite take on Hawkeye is from Matt Fraction, and that's Kate Bishop and all that stuff. Oh, that's great. And the Disney Plus show is a great way to explore that. And there is word that Kate Bishop will be introduced in this series, which is really cool. And okay, good. I thought I stopped for a second. He's a really great actor. I think he's really underappreciated. And I think this would be a great time, especially if they do what I hope they do. I think this might be a fun film, fun series. Excuse me. Next we have Loki, which I kind of figured once we had that scene in escaping, I figured, okay, that's the start of your show, because I knew they were going to do a Loki show, and this had the most kind of prep. I mean, Jesus, I mean, this whole movie that we've all seen just practically gives us like the beginning of the show. Loki getting away with Tesseract, because Sam was literally given the shield. He was given the mantle by Captain America himself to take over. And there is that possibility that he would have done that, because he was kind of next in line too. And of course, anybody who reads the comics know that he actually was Captain America before Sam. So I think this might be interesting because I really do believe like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think, is designed to be that journey from point A to point B. And by the series, I believe most likely Sam or maybe Winter Soldier, I don't know, one of them will be Captain America. And the next time we see him in the film, we'll get to that place. And I think it's done very nicely, because if you just watch the movies and don't even bother with the shows, but this will definitely fill those blanks if you're interested in the backstory. First, I will definitely watch, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier. And next, this was the last one that was announced. Oh, hold on. I'll do some questions here. I got some questions. Let's see. Mary McDaniel. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Mary McDaniel writes, do you think Red Skull is going to show up at any point? I think who knows how long he was like on that mountain. So if he has had changes, maybe he's still like a stinking, filthy Nazi. And unfortunately, 2019, 2020 would be a great time for him to come back. That'd be a good welcoming period. Like, oh, hey, man, there's plenty of me here. Great. Let's see. It would definitely be an interesting time for the character to come back. That's something I haven't really dug too deeply, and I'm almost a little surprised of how little we've seen of the Red Skull in the MCU. I mean, he's a really bad guy, so I don't know. Maybe I'm not too surprised that they kind of took the easy way out and kept him on the shelf for such a long time. But I mean, he's really been. he's a really good, strong, important villain. So I'm glad they've kind of brought him back. I mean, I hope they will bring him back. Okay. Oh, hey, Amatron says, show of hands, Fantasy Four should ideally been Phase 4. I mean, come on, that's perfect. We all know it. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it writes itself. I'll get to that. I'm going to talk about some predictions at the end of this video. All right, let's get back to business here. Blade was the last one announced, and boy, that kind of surprised me. I know it surprised everybody, but me specifically. I'm talking about me. And I love that actor who's playing him, and wow, I'm just like really knocked out by it. And this looks like it's going to be a film. And Marvel's experimenting with horror. They were doing the Doctor Strange film, which is said to be a horror film, and Blade, which does have aspects to it. Yeah, I don't have too much. I know Wesley Snipes is already getting his blessing about it. I'm all in it. I'm really excited to see vampires in this universe and how they play that. You know, Dracula is a character in Blade. I don't know if they'll go all the way and like have Dracula appear in these. What the hell? Why not? Let's do it. Let's go all the way with it. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Arthur. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we have a couple more. Oh yeah, a couple more. Let me get to some questions. Heard some stuff pop up. Hey, Manos, how awesome would it be if Rugged Howard had played Deacon Frost for the Blade reboot? Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of character he did very well. I agree. That would have been really cool. Anthony Gucci says, hey, back. Marion says, do you think the Blade movie could build up to Marvel's Dracula? That'd be cool. I doubt they could do a Dracula movie. But I doubt they'd go that route. If Dracula appears in the MCU, he'll most likely appear as a villain in the Blade. That would be appropriate. Holy crap. I mean, we're at that point where we could have Marvel Dracula. And people would like forever compare that Dracula to the other great Draculas of history. Let's see, what else here? Anthony says Blade will be as family friendly as you can make them. I would imagine Blade will be as dark as maybe Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier gets really dark in some places, and in let's see, there we go. So I'm very curious to see what they can do with it. It'll probably, I mean, it's not going to be like, 30 Days at Night dark, but, I think it should at least hopefully be close to the Wesley Snipes era. Oh, my stream is lagging. Oh, damn. Hold on, let's fix that. I'm going to fix this right now. Hold on. Okay. Hey, honey, do you mind if I finish my live show in the living room? Let's see. Hope you weren't watching anything.
Yeah, I need to go and pack stuff for the show.
Okay. Hey, we're doing a show on Saturday and Sunday, by the way. If you're in the Chesapeake, Virginia area, we're going to be both appearing at Fantasy. Ooh, look at this arty shot with the bottle. We're going to be at Fantasy, where she's going to be selling her cool stuff, and I'm going to be selling my cool stuff. And we'll be selling cool stuff. Let's see. The lag should be not as bad in this room. Actually, the stream usually is much better. Yeah, I got the full bars here. Is everybody looking at? Is the stream looking okay? Let's see. The video is looking pretty good. Oh yeah. What do I think about the? Let's see, Anthony. Let's see. Where am I? Blah 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 blah. We don't. Let's see. I don't think we need a Blade movie. to be totally R. If anything, it needs to be rated R. I think they can. I think they can get away with a cool PG-13 Blade film. They could push that limit, and if the story is well crafted enough, if they're able to create the right kind of scary tone, I think they can get away with PG-13 film. I know there'll be lots of discussions over the next couple of years of what they can do, because like Deadpool's coming and Wolverine is coming, so I know there's gonna be some fights about the ratings, so we'll see. But I don't know. I think they can get away with it, provided it's well done enough. Okay, good. The stream is looking better. Anthony writes, what do you think about the Eternals? I did mention at the program, I did talk about the Eternals a little bit, but for you, Anthony, I will just repeat briefly. I don't really have any strong feelings about the Eternals. It's one of those Marvel properties that I've never really had any excitement over. But I liked Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek a lot, and I've seen this before. I mean, I didn't care about the Guardians of the Galaxy before they did that film, and those two films are among my favorites. So I'm willing to give it a chance. All right, now let's go to, where are we here? All right, the Shang-Chi film, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This was one of the first ones I think they announced, and I was pretty excited about it when I saw the full title on this. By the way, I really like the subtitles a lot, and they're having a lot of fun with these titles, you can tell. And I'll get more into that. I like the fact that it's going to be an all-Asian cast, and I like the fact that they're bringing in the Mandarin here. And that's kind of cool, because look, when you go back and watch these films, especially new viewers go back and watch, and they get to Iron Man 3 thinking the Mandarin's coming, and that twist is going to fool them just as much as it fooled anybody. Just like the first Jason movie. The first Friday the 13th movie doesn't have Jason in it. It's the mother that's killer. Spoiler warning. Sorry. Hope I didn't really ruin the first film from 1980. But yeah, a lot of people, when they watch the first Friday the 13th movie, they assume that it's going to be Jason doing all the killing, and they're wrong. And that's what's really cool about that first one. And boy, I'm really excited to see the Mandarin here, because I know filmmakers are really kind of antsy about the Mandarin, because he has this Fu Manchu thing going on. If you do that improperly, it can come off offensive, especially when the heroes are all white. But now that we have an all-Asian cast, and it has a more Asian setting, that might feel more balanced. I think they might feel more comfortable approaching this character, and hopefully, that'll come across. So yeah, I'm excited. Shang-Chi is I don't see Shang-Chi much. He is actually in one of the first Spider-Man comics I ever read. And he's got this cool vibe going on, and he always has been second fiddle to Iron Fist. So on the Iron Fist Netflix show, it's kind of cool to see Shang-Chi get a movie. That's really cool. Okay, I get getting some questions here. Ed, any thoughts on Natalie returning for Thor? And Anthony is the God Butcher and Thor: Love and Thunder. Haven't got to Thor yet, and let's actually. I'm going to talk about Doctor Strange first, and I'll talk about Thor. Those are the last two I have here. So let me talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is my favorite title. Holy crap, that is a great title. Whoever came up with that title needs a raise, because that was good work. That was good work on that. And of course, it has Scarlet Witch in the film. It's said to be the first horror film dealing. it's Doctor Strange dealing with, I guess, the multiverse, possibly created from the experiences of Endgame, and it's going to be treated as a horror story, which is really cool. I don't really see too many people deal with multiverse ideas in a horror context, outside of maybe David Lynch and Twin Peaks. So yeah, I am like really excited because Doctor Strange isn't. I mean, Doctor Strange is a good movie, but it's not my favorite. And that might be having to do with the fact that he's never been my go-to character. But this, I don't know. This has me very interested. There's a lot of really good yes in this one. All right, now I was getting asked about Thor, and so let's just jump right into Thor. Thor: Love and Thunder, and it's going to be directed again by Tiger Waititi. Do you remember how to pronounce his name? Tiger Waititi. Excuse me. Thank you. And it's got the cast back. It's got like Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. And we're bringing back Natalie Portman, and we're doing Jane Foster Thor, which I'll be honest, when that in the comics, I remember thinking like, oh man, it's too bad Natalie Portman stopped playing Jane Foster because that would have been interesting to see her do that. And holy shit, they're doing it. I'm really impressed by that. I can't believe that's happening. I love Natalie Portman. I think she's an awesome actress, and I've been a fan of her since, geez, like The Professional. I mean, she's awesome in what is it, Black Sheep? No, Black Swan. God, I'm so dumb. Black Sheep's another movie. That's a Chris Farley movie. Black Swan, by the way, you should see. That's a really good movie. Let's see, Winona Ryder's in that too. That's a really good film. I haven't seen that in a while. But I'm really excited about this. And I know she was really kind of unimpressed with the way her character's written. Some of the female characters were written in the Marvel movies at that time, which is why she wasn't interested in continuing. So I can definitely see, like, hey, they called her up and go, hey, how'd you like to be Thor? And a better paycheck. It's like, okay, I'm right there. All right. And that's going to be fun. And also, I'm really curious to see how, Tiger approaches this material. And we got Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, being queen of Earthbound Asgard, looking for her queen, from what she said, is going to be kind of partly her subplot. I don't know what Thor is going to be going through. Maybe he's going to go through the unworthy period. And of course, then I don't know how they're going to approach Jane Foster. Like, will she be suffering from cancer like she was in the comic? And there's room to do that since she was gone from the third one. She could have been dealing with that during Ragnarok. That would definitely make sense. And of course, my hope is the humor would be able to be balanced properly with that material. I thought it was mostly well handled in Ragnarok, except for a couple of moments. But hopefully they'll be able to do that. I love the Love and Thunder title. Oh my God. These titles, okay. Legend of the Ten Rings, Multiverse of Madness, Love and Thunder. One of the things I really love about these announcements is how they've just gone for it with these titles. They're just like, the hell with being super serious and cool and using Rising or whatever, or whatever kind of cool in vogue title we can use and to be serious. No, look, we're calling this movie Love and Thunder. Fuck you. I'm all in for that, and I'm very excited about this. I really feel like, the Thor films kind of found their voice, and I'm very interested. Kat Dennings. I'm cool with Kat Dennings. I don't know if she is interested in coming back. I would be interested to see Tiger write and direct her. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a really good filmmaker. So I'm all in for whatever the hell he wants to do. Really, I think he's a really exciting filmmaker. A lot like Edgar Wright. Like you could sit down and just have a mainstream film that feels subversive and kind of plays both sides really well. I'm just very happy with his work. Let's see, the Enchantress in Thor: Love and Thunder. This would be a good time to bring Enchantress in. I haven't heard anything, but I've been waiting for that. Characters I've known all my life, along with Loki, and there's been no mention of her in these films and TV shows and all this stuff. So I'm very curious to see, maybe this would be the time to bring her in. That would be cool. I feel like Loki is not going to be because he's basically going to be tied up with his own TV miniseries, and also in terms of the story arc in Thor, he's dead. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays. I mean, the Enchantress would be a good villain to pop in at this point. Let's see. And okay, we got like 15 more minutes. So I guess I'm going to make some final thoughts. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to address them. So yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm really interested in the fact that they went all in on creating Phase 4 as this tie between the films and the miniseries. That's interesting, and I almost feel like, what you're seeing with this initial announcement is Marvel using a lot of the goodwill they built up. And sometimes when you see like a successful filmmaker like break through with a huge movie, and then they get to do whatever the hell they want in the next movie, Kevin Feige and the Marvel Studios are kind of in that position, except with movies. So they can do a direction on these things. And I'm very curious where they're going post Endgame. And I'm happy that an Avengers movie is not in the listing. I think that would have been maybe too soon to bring an Avengers title back. Let's miss it. He has also mentioned Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, and Fantastic Four are coming. He didn't say when. And that's what was interesting, because they could have loaded this up with sequels. They could have had first off, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2. And I know Guardians of the Galaxy, because of all the shenanigans, was postponed, but that could have been, rushed into production. But no, I mean, they held off. I think that's very interesting. I think that feels really confident. Like, okay, we're going to do these other things and kind of expand the universe and go in these different directions. And then we'll come back with, more of the regular kind of characters. We'll have a third Spider-Man. We'll have those 2 sequels. I still feel like they're building to some situation with the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts. I just feel that's happening. And then, of course, with the multiverse in the Doctor Strange film, which I thought was really cool, that they kind of set up the concept in Spider-Man without doing it. That was kind of cool. They let's introduce the idea and we'll bring out the idea. And then, of course, at the end of Spider-Man, one of the stingers is that Nick Fury is hanging out with the Skrulls. So not too sure what they're planning. Let's see, where are we going? Let's go back to some of our viewers at home. What do they think here? Anthony Gucci mentions Moon Knight in the MCU. Yes, I went Moon Knight. I'm glad Moon Knight wasn't part of the Netflix show. Man, I was bitching about that from day one. Yeah, they should do Moon Knight. Well, now I'm glad they didn't, because that went down in flames and took my beloved Daredevil. So I got to wait to see what happens with Daredevil. I'm really interested to see what they do with Moon Knight. I mean, that could be a Disney Plus series. That could be like a film. I think they might be waiting and seeing what goes on with these darker films like Blade and Doctor Strange. Like if they're successful, if they're well received, I think that might. Oh, and Black Widow might be a bit of a darker film too. Now that I think about it, if those I think are well received, I think we might have a better chance of seeing a Moon Knight movie. Let's see. I hope Riri Williams shows up at some point. Don't know why. The usual bullshit. That's why she gets so much hate. But this is an awesome time for her to do it. And I could see, because the way her character was introduced, Tony was killed and he became like an AI or something like that. And she stole his armor out of a storehouse or something like that and put stuff together. That's not too far away from what they can do. And they had some kind of sound effect at the end of Endgame of somebody like hitting some iron or something like that. Now that it might have been just a callback to the old days with Tony starting everything. Or it could have been like a reference to maybe Riri is out there with a suit of armor trying to put it together with a box of scraps. So, I mean, that's very possible. This is a cool time to bring her in. This is a cool time to bring the young Avengers in. With like, they're already like, they've already introduced the concept of bringing in Kate Bishop. So we might, and they already have the Skrulls in, so that probably means like what Hulkling is possible. So yeah, I think they're starting to set the stage. Now, let's see. Do you think Black Panther 2? Namor would be great. Depends. Like if he might appear in Fantastic Four films, or Avengers, or Black Panther. I think those would be the three ideal spots to bring him back. Bring him into this universe. Oddly enough, I think Aquaman helps Namor's case because that film was a big hit. Like a seagoing swimming guy from Atlantis can be a successful movie, and he's a different kind of guy from Aquaman. Like he's more of a he's basically a bastard who can turn on you, and there's a bit of complexity to him that makes him not Aquaman. So he's kind of a different character. So yeah, we could see him. I don't know if we're going to get his own movie, or they probably might introduce him first. And I don't know. I mean, they might keep him just like a standard villain or a complex villain like Loki is. I don't know. Those would be my three guesses as to where he'd appear. Kraven the Hunter would be cool for Spider-Man 3. Oh boy, like there's so many villains. There's so many Spidey villains I want to see in Spider-Man 3. I can't contain myself. So I was really excited for Mysterio, and that paid off really well. Hey, Anthony said I sucked. Oh, thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it. Hey, I gotta let's see. I'll try and do good videos if that makes you happy. I'll do my best with that. I appreciate it. So yeah, like I said, this was an interesting kind of experiment. I don't know if they're fully done. Let's see here. Arthur 19 says, I'm fucking annoyed that we can't get She-Hulk in the MCU. And I agree. I want She-Hulk. I've wanted She-Hulk since, I don't know, like when they made the Incredible Hulk film. I'm a huge fan of that character. And much like the Young Avengers and Riri Williams and Kate Bishop and like the new Black Widow, this would be a cool time to bring her in. Like, let's say they keep him injured for a time from Endgame. This would be another cool time to bring She-Hulk in, like they do in some film. I don't know. They do the situation where she is injured and he does the blood transfusion and turns her into She-Hulk. Yeah, time to bring that in. Or he could be Spidey's lawyer. there's been this joke like, oh, Spider-Man needs a lawyer after the Far From Home movie. I mean, that could be Daredevil, that could be She-Hulk. It'd be hilarious to have Daredevil versus She-Hulk with Spider-Man being the defendant. Okay, all right, that's all right. I've written half your movie for Spider-Man 3. Okay, there it is. So yeah, this has been an interesting experiment with them. You can definitely see them like playing all the goodwill they've gotten over the last few years, and hopefully it pays off. It's one of the things that I've always found so interesting about this studio and this franchise is that they're patient. They're willing to experiment and take their time and set up and pay off. And the continuity's been very strong. And I'm not growing up watching superhero movies and franchises like this, I'm not used to that. For them to be so well crafted, and they've been doing it. And these have been around so long, they're actually doing some things I've been seeing in comic books for years. Now I'm getting to see movie audiences who've never picked up a comic book, who've only been watching these films, experience these kind of things, like event movies and characters coming back from the dead and fake outs and retcons and all that kind of crap. Enjoy, moviegoers. This is what I think that's the thing that's been the most satisfying thing about the MCU is they've been able to bring the comic book experience to the film, better than I've ever seen it. That's essentially how I feel about it. So yeah, I'm interested to see if Fantastic Four. I don't know if the Four has been announced, but it'd be great if Fantastic Four was the last of the Phase 4 movies. Like maybe they've been building up to Fantastic Four. How fantastic would that be? I kind of want that, frankly. So we'll see. And I haven't heard any announcements for specifics on Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2. I mentioned this before, but I hope they take their time with the X-Men and introduce mutant characters in various other Marvel films. Captain Marvel would be an awesome place to not only introduce like Miss Marvel, but like Mystique and Rogue would be a fantastic movie, and I kind of want that. Maybe a second or third film. But that's kind of what I'm feeling. So I've been mostly pretty excited about what I saw, and looking forward to the rest of our life with these movies, I guess. So shit, they've made like James Bond movies for 50 years, and that was basically the same movie over and over again for 50 years. I guess they could do this Marvel thing for a while. And I guess to sum up is like, I hear some fans like, so it's so weird. I keep hearing fans have this conversation about like, oh, when superhero fatigue coming in, the sky is falling. Oh no. I don't hear the mainstream public talk about that. Not at all. And I think part of that is because the Marvel movies aren't one thing. Like they aren't the same movie over and over again. They have the same framework. And I think comparing them to the James Bond movies isn't like a bad idea, because James Bond movies kind of had, the opening sequences and, the pre-credits sequence, the credits, and then we get into the story. It had that frame and design work. And these films have that, but they have the advantage of not being the same movie over and over again. Like, Black Panther is a different movie than Guardians of the Galaxy, and Guardians of the Galaxy is a different movie than Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel is a different movie than Ant-Man and the Wasp, and so on and so forth. So, like, if you like space movies, if you like spy movies, that's one of the things I like so much about superheroes is they really do cross genre, and that's what they've been doing in these movies. It's amazing. So yeah, I think those are my full thoughts. I don't know if I have anything else regarding the Phase 4 announcements. Although I'm curious to see if there's more for Phase 4 that, we haven't heard yet. But not bad so far. All right. Let's see. If you're watching this video after it went live, you can leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell because YouTube pays attention to that stuff, and I want you to pay attention. I want YouTube to pay attention to me. My comic book, Red Knight, is still going on, and the deadline for the Kickstarter ends July 31st, so you can back and support it until July 31st. If not, you're going to have to probably wait a month before you're going to buy the comic outside of that. So get in now, be on the ground floor for Red Knight 1, coming out very soon. And I think that's it. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. All right, well, I think that's it for now. Take care, guys.